Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, so today the session will be on completely on sketch mode itself. So I hope everyone have your laptops ready and your Fusion 360 is also open, or else you can practice it in your evening session and you can ask your doubts in the forthcoming class. Okay, so all the doubts will be cleared after 12 o'clock. Okay, ma? So 11 to 12 will be your lecture. So after 12 o'clock, you can ask your question here. Okay, so now let's quickly jump into okay. Now, as I have explained in the yesterday session, so this is your basic interface of your Fusion 360. Okay, so I hope everyone have gone through this data panel and you have hope you have created a new folder for your current project. So you can again I'll be showing how to create a new folder for your current project. So let us create a new folder, rename it as project one, give any random name or some value. So just make sure it is open and all your files whatever you do in this Fusion 360 will be saved onto this project one folder. Okay, so that is how you create a new folder and you save your data. And in the initial step you can save your data now itself, or else you can save it later on, because it automatically saves your data. Okay, there is no need of pressing Ctrl S each and every time in Fusion 360. And do remember that beside the name of this part, or as whatever the project you do, there will be a star mark appeared on right side of this name. So if I make any change, like example, if I want to create a sketch, so you have to go to create sketch and it will be asking for any plane to uh, draw your sketch. Select any plane. There is a left, right plane, top plane, or else you call it as x, y, y, z, or zx. Okay, so whatever it is. So I'll take my top plane, and as soon as I enter into the sketcher mode, or else if I do any modification to my file, it will show a star mark, right? Untitled and star. Untitled is the name of the file, and star mark represents that there is an update and you have to save your file. Okay, as soon as I save my file, let me finish my sketch, exit, and just save my copy. It is not allowing me to open a new window. Okay, okay. So in your screen, it will be visible, I guess. So press Control S. So as in my window, it is not allowing me to open a new window. Okay, so press Control S. It will show a name. Just press, give a name and press save. Okay, and the star mark will be lost. And this is the most important interview question you will be asking in your CAD models or wherever it might be. Okay, what is this significance of the star mark? Okay, now, so to go to sketch, you have create sketch, select any given plane, and you will be entering into your plane option. And the major difference between your previous Fusion 360 and your current Fusion 360 is all these options like create, modify, constraints, and everything are used to be available on the right side of this palette, sketch palette. Okay, now they are not available in the sketch palette. They are only available only on the toolbar. Okay, that is the update in your current Fusion 360. Okay, now let's quickly jump into these options. So now I'll go really quick and try to practice each and every command. That is the major important thing. Don't be in a hurry to draw any sketch and then give some extrusion and do some pocket and hole operations and all. Okay, try to learn each and every command, memorize it, and it will be useful whenever you actually make a complicated sketch. Okay, now let us explore this create option. Create a simple line. Okay, this is my origin, and most important thing is you have mouse commands. Okay, that is the first, at the first click it will be asked, that is the first point where you start your profile, and as soon as I hover my mouse in an angular direction, it will be asking for an angle, whether it is 157 or any given angle. Okay, and if as soon as I place it horizontal, it will be showing a blue color mark. Okay, that is called constraint. That means this line is horizontal. As soon as I make it vertical, another constraint is available. That is another blue color command. That is called a vertical constraint. Okay, and now make sure it is horizontal and don't click. If you have a dimension of your profile, give a value of, let us say, 100 mm. Okay, now you have given a value of 100. Then give a click and don't press enter mark. If you press enter, it will exit uh, this particular command. Okay, now if you want to draw a continuous profile, so now you have to give an another dimension like 45, 50 or whatever it might be. Let us go with 60 and give a single left click, and again give a value of 150 or any given value, and don't press enter. As soon as you press enter, your profile will be exited. And now you can check this is an open profile. Okay, always in solid modeling you have to have a closed profile. See, if you extrude or else if you expand this particular U-shape profile, you will get a surface, not a solid. Okay, now this is solid modeling, not a surface modeling. Okay, only in surface modeling open profiles are possible. In solid modeling you have to have closed profiles. Okay, make sure that is closed. Okay, let me come close my profile and make sure it is closed. As soon as you close it, you can observe the difference in color. Okay, there is a light bluish color to this. That means it is showing that this particular profile is closed. Okay, this portion is your workspace or else canvas, and this is your closed profile. And one more thing you have to observe in your sketch profile is color coding. See, if I hover my mouse onto the sketch, the selection is blue. Okay, and if I unselect it, it is black. The meaning of black is the sketch is fully constrained. That means you cannot move your sketch by simply dragging your line. Okay, that is one of your interview questions again. And see, as soon as I delete any one particular dimension, this line will become unconstrained. That means you can move this line with your freely. That means you can move your profile free. So this is not allowed in your sketches. In any of your sketches, in any of your profiles, your sketch should be fully constrained. And how do you constrain this depends on how you actually give your dimensions and all. Some fellow will be constraining by giving an angle to it. Okay, if I want to give an angle to it while explaining dimensions, go to create, sketch dimension, and click one, click second. It can give your angle, some angle. It is okay. Press enter. So the sketch gets constrained. One can do different methods. Okay, you can constrain with respect to given angle, or else you can constrain by giving a simple length of this line. I'll give it as 150. Okay, that is how your constraining works. Make sure your profile is completely constrained. How much ever complicated profile is there, you have to constrain it. That is for mandatory in any industry standards. Okay, unless and until you constrain it, they are never going to allow to model your part or else any assembly. Okay, that is the primary and foremost thing in your CAD career. Okay, it is really hard to constrain. It is not so simple to as it actually looks. Okay, there is a complicated profile. Okay, that is about constraining, and that is about your simple solid line. And if you open, see, these are the basic commands. And if you open this uh, list, you have all these extra entities like different types of rectangles, circle, arc, and everything. And always try to use your shortcuts. For line, you can see here the shortcut is L. Always try to minimize your time. Press L, it will automatically go to a line option and click any given point, control it. Okay, give any close profile and complete it. That's all. See, the difference between this one and this one is I did not give any dimensions to it, so it is blue in color. I have given dimensions to it, it is black. So this profile I cannot move. This profile I can move it freely. I can change the shape or do whatever it might be. Clear? So that is the meaning of constraining. So why it is necessary? Because the object should be perfectly fixed at a given position. Your profile should be fixed at a given position. If a manager says that I want to extend this profile by 2 mm, now directly if I give any constraint, instead of 100 I can go with 102. Automatically the sketch gets adjusted. So if I want to increase the line, this line by 2 mm, I cannot do it right now. Again I have to go to dimension, again I have to move it. Right? If I move this line, what actually happens is, see, I'm disturbing the entire profile. So that is what it actually happens. So that is the purpose of constraint. Okay, enough. So this is your basic profile, create, and different kind. We'll quickly go with the rectangle. See, this is 2-point rectangle. Explore all the options. Go with rectangle. So now here it is 50. So now you want to jump into that this is breadth, let me give 50. And if you want to change the length, press tab. Okay, and give 100. Again, if you want to come back to this breadth, press again tab. It will switch between your dimensions. Okay, that is how it is. So 100 it will be your length and 50 will be your breadth. So press tab between to change your dimensions. Okay, that is how you actually toggle between your dimensions. Fine. So that is how you get. And next you will be your 3-point rectangle. So that is how you get your 3-point rectangle. See, the difference between these two rectangles, this cannot be angular and this can be inclined with a given angle. Okay, so this is as simple as such. Okay, 2-point rectangle, first point, give 3-point, give your first point, this one, and you can get. That is how you do it, very simple, in a simple way. Okay, instead of that, if you use your line, you will be ending up with extra constraints and extra dimensions. Okay, so make use of all these primitive shapes. These are called primitive shapes, and always try to use your center rectangle. Okay, in your center rectangle you will be having your automatic center. For these kind of rectangles you don't have any center. Okay, in order to make your whole, or you want to control your sketch, you you can control with respect to this given center point. Okay, that is how it works. So always try to use your center rectangle. And next, after giving center rectangle, you have different types of circles and everything. So a simple center diameter circle, 2-point circle is really quick. And most important thing is two tangent circle. So tangent between two given points, two given lines or any entity. So I want to make a circle which is tangent to these two lines. Okay, I'll click my first point, I'll click my second point, and it will automatically create a tangent circle, which I mean tangent and a point circle. Okay, now you give your radius and everything. Now this is tangent to this line and this line. Now it is with a given radius or diameter. Okay, that is two tangent circle. Okay, and try to remember, in all your interview questions he will be asking how many types of circle are there, how many types of rectangles are there, that you have to memorize. Okay, So again 3.3 tangent circle directly. If you want to first one, second line, and a given third line, it will automatically create a 3 tangent circle. No need to give any dimensions, and it will automatically get constrained. So the beauty of this one is, if I want to change the length of this line, let me say the length of this rectangle, automatically the circle size will be changed due to these constraints. I'll explain what are these constraints and all. Okay, in a few minutes. Okay, due to these constraints, it is fixed. That means this is tangent to this line, to this line, to this line. That is why it is actually moving with along with the rectangle. Okay, and that is about circle and tangent arcs, tangent arc and 3 point arc, first point, second point, and third point. So directly you can give these arcs. So that is as simple as such. And next is polygon. See, you can have a circumscribed or inscribed. Okay, that is up to you, and you can give your dimensions. And if as soon as you click the first instant, it will be asking for number of sides. Press tab. I need an octagon. Press 8. Okay, now expand it or give any dimension to it. Tab. Again, I'll give radius as 50, or I'll go with 40. Press enter. That is how you make a simple octagon. Okay, so people will be asking how to make an octagon. So there will be another option called edge polygon. So click the first point, and it will be asking for your diagonal distance. Okay, that is how your edge polygon is created. This is with respect to your circle, and this is with respect to your side. Okay, the length of a side of a given polygon is, let us say it is 40 or some value. So it is created in that way. That is the most important thing. So whenever he says to create an edge polygon of a given side, so click your first point, and I will be giving this as let us say the side of the polygon is 40. So expand. Now I'll give it as octagon plus 8. Okay. Now the side is 40. In this, you have been controlling it with your radius of the circle. Okay, that is the difference between edge polygon and your circumscribed and inscribed polygon. Okay, so and the next option will be your ellipse. Okay, okay. Always ellipse will be having your major axis and your minor axis. So that is as simple as such. You get your simple ellipse. And second one is, and the last one is slot. So define the first center, give your second center, and give your width of that particular slot. It will create a simple slot for you. See, try to use this ready-made or as primitive shapes. We call it as primitive shapes. Instead of going with a line and making a simple arc and doing all that stuff, directly go with this profile. Okay. So that is how you need to make use of all these primitive shapes. And overall slot, center point slot, and you have arc slot also. Give your first point, uh, give your second point, and you can define an arc, and automatically an angular arc can be created. After that, you can just position it wherever you want. Okay, that is how you create your arc slot. And the last it will be your splines, and there are two kinds of splines. This theoretically you can learn in your CAD/CAM subject. One is interpolation curve and one is approximation curve. Okay, you will learn that theoretically in your CAD/CAM subject. You will derive equations and all. What I can say now for now is the difference between this two splines is, this is your spline. Okay, press enter. So in this spline, this is interpolation curve and one is approximation curve. See the difference between these two. To control this particular spline, I have points lying on the curve. Okay, this point is lying on the curve. To control this particular spline, I have point outside the curve. Okay, this is approximation curve. This is interpolation curve. So all these things will be learning in your CAD/CAM, and you can go through. So the basic idea is, if you control, these are called control points. If you just move these points, the curvature of this particular spline or else can be controlled. This is called G2 continuity. So all these will, you will be learning that in your CAD/CAM subject one. Okay, so that is the difference between these two splines, but the output is same. So you can control the curvature of this spline by these control points. You can move these control points. Okay, you can change the curvature of this. Okay, so that is about your splines. And as simple, you have conic sections. So give your first point and give your vertex, and give your value of RHO. So let me give it as 0.75. No, I'll give it as 0.5. Okay, so define your conic sections. That is parabola, hyperbola, ellipse. So depending upon your eccentricity. Okay, and you can create a simple point. And next thing is, you can go with your text. See, text is directly, if you have a point, text at a simple text box will be appeared. So the text would be like ASK. I'll be typing height would be so and so value, bold and everything. This feature. Okay, now if I zoom in, this can be extruded. Okay, directly extruded, and this is a solid element. Okay, your name could be as a solid element. This is a complete profile. Okay, man, you no need to go to a line and draw your like in this way. So you complete your profile, and you do it in this kind of format. Okay, that is not required in the software. It will take text as a direct complete profile. Okay, this is a complete profile. You can just directly extrude it to get a simple solid element. Okay, okay, now again, and this fed to curve section I'll be explaining in the next forthcoming session. And next one is mirror. And if I have a rectangle over here, now I want to mirror it. Go with mirror. So, and again it will be asking, let me draw a simple line. Okay, mirror, objects to select. I'll select this. You can select individual lines or else complete the profile. Select mirroring line as this one. So you get a simple mirror over here. Okay, that is how you get a simple copy of it. And another thing is circular pattern. Now if I have a simple circle, now I have a simple line. Okay, or else any given point. Okay, I'm just showing for visual purpose. I'm showing it as a line, circular pattern. Now it is asking for objects. I'll select the circle. I'll select the center point as this one, and it will be asking for whether it is, I have to fill it with a full 360-degree angle, or else only a given 180-degree angle, or else symmetric. So let us select a full, and you just drag these lines. Okay, let us give a number of 8. Press enter. My system is getting very slow. Okay, we'll repeat it one more time. Go to circular pattern, select objects, and select this one particular circle, give a center point value, and you can control it with this part, or else you can give any value of 9 or some value or quantity. Okay, that is how you make a simple circular pattern. So the same way your rectangular pattern goes. So it will be asking for directions, like x-axis and y-axis, horizontal and vertical. And there are quite more options to explore. So I'll draw a simple circle. I want to make a rectangular pattern of it. I go to rectangular pattern. Now it will be asking for the objects, and in directions, I want to go with this direction. So I need 3 or any more. If I want to have 4, 5, can go with 4 and 5. Click this axis, you will be having with, just drag your mouse, that's all. Just increase the quantity and drag your mouse. So you will get a rectangular pattern in one direction and in both the directions. Symmetric. Symmetric means you will be getting 3. If you give 5, it will be symmetric. That means 2 over here and 2 over there. If you get in one direction, it will get only 5 in only one direction. Okay. So that quantity 5, you can control the same thing from here or else from there. Okay, just click OK and you can exit. Okay, that is about your rectangular pattern. So this project mode, if you have a 3D element behind, then you can project your sketch from the existing 3D models. Okay, so I'll explain this project and include mode whenever I teach part modeling. Okay. And finally, your sketch dimension. Now, if you want to give your dimension to this particular circle, press D, or else a dimension will be available. Now, diameter, you can change the diameter, or else press enter. Okay. At any given point of time, if you want to change your dimensions, just double click any dimension, it gets changed. Just double click this dimension, go to 40 instead of 50 or some value, it automatically gets changed. Okay, this is about create section. And one most important thing is there is no construction line available directly in your palette in this option. As soon as you go to line, if you want to make it as construction, click this construction in your sketch palette. Okay, automatically the sketch whatever you draw will become a construction element. Okay, automatically. Now if you want to draw a construction circle, okay, see, I have make sure that this construction element is on. Now if I make sure it is off, I'll get a solid profile. Okay, the difference between these two is to make sure the color coding. This is light blue in color and this is does not have any color because this is a simple construction element. This is a profile element. Okay, that is how you draw your construction lines and infinite lines. And there is no such infinite lines, but this line would be your construction elements. Okay, so that is about your sketch. And next you will be having with modify elements. Okay, I'll take this rectangle, modify, and this modify toolbar directly you can go with fillet. Select any given corner, it will directly add a fillet, or else select first line, select second line, go to fillet, it will automatically give any value to it, press enter. So that is how you get a simple fillet. And trim your sketches. Now if I have a line, let me suppose, okay, now I have this line in between the sketch. Now I want to trim it. Go to trim command, just select this line. It will be showing a warning that sketch is not constrained. Okay, so you have to constrain before removing your sketches. Okay, so always in every software it is built now, so without constraining this complete sketch it will not allow you. Okay, now that is how trim command works. Another example of trim command is if I have a line in this format, now I need to trim it, the extra portion, go to trim, the extra portion will be trimmed, or else the inner portion if I want to trim, it gets trimmed. But what it is saying is this is an open profile, so open profile is not feasible in your solid modeling. Okay, that is the warning it is showing over there. Okay, that is how your trim command works. And there is an extend. So if I want to extend this line, click extend, and it will extend your line. And next it is asking to break. Now if I now let me suppose escape. So now this is a line which is passing through this complete profile. Okay, Now this is a single line. Now if I want to break this line exactly at this particular joint, go to modify, break this line, click this line. It will automatically detect where the intersect point is there and it will break over there. Okay, so this is how break option does. And you want to scale this, scale any given rectangle, or let me suppose I want to scale up this profile. To modify, sketch, so select the entities you want to scale, select all the elements, complete profile, give a point with respect to which point you want to scale. So with respect to this point I need to scale up my model. So it will be asking for the direction, whether you want to shrink it or else whether you want to expand it. Okay, or else directly you can give a value, scale factor. So if I want to increase it by 2 times, I give value of 2, it gets increased. If I give the value of 0.5, it gets decreased, shrinked. Okay, scale up and scale down. Okay, that is how you scale up and scale down your profiles. Okay, press enter, or else directly you can control with your arrow marks, and that is how you do. Okay, move and copy. Okay, move and copy is to just select any given profile. See, move object, select any given profile. If you want to move this object, then move it over here, or else directly pick this line, you can directly move it. So that is quite simple. And the most important thing is parametric modeling. So I'll be teaching, you need to have a separate session for this parametric modeling. That means to control your dimensions by using a simple formula, right? So I'll be takes a one complete session to teach this parametric modeling. Like I have given dimensions over here, right? So instead of dimensions, I have will be giving a formula. Only one dimension I will give. Okay, d6 is equal to 100 mm, right? Some, now d7, see, each and every dimension is having a name to it. Now what I'll do, d6, let us suppose this is d6. Now I'll give a formula as d7 is equal to d6 times twice the times of d6. Then it automatically takes the value, or else d6 by 2. So in the form of parametric modeling, I'll give this dimension. That is how parametric modeling works. Okay, that is how it takes. So that parametric modeling, it takes a complete class how to define your formulas and all. So that is the major advanced course in your sketchers. Okay, sketcher workbench. Okay, that is about changing parameters, giving formulas and all. Okay, so that is about parametric modeling. So I'll take a complete class on parametric modeling later on. Okay, next we will be having an offset command. So in this offset command, if you want to have a profile, so go to offset and select the curves. It automatically detects the curves. So whether you want to get an offset outside, whether you want to get an offset inside. So it is, there is a flip option. So if you can, if I can zoom in, so flip option outside, flip option inside. Okay, negative means it is inside, positive means it is outside. If you increase it, you'll get a simple offset command. Okay, that is how you create an offset profile. Got the point? So all these are about create and modify. Okay, I'm going a little bit faster because I have to cover all the constraints ma. So I'll give a recorded session to you so you can explore it later on. Okay, and coming to your constraints. See, automatically when I draw a simple sketch, um, let us take a simple profile. So I'm drawing a rectangle instead of going with it with a rectangle. So now I have drawn a rectangle. See, now automatically it is showing these constraints. Let us learn what these constraints are. One of the most important concept. First one is horizontal. See, check the symbols mark. This is called as a horizontal and vertical constraint. That means, see, if you see a constraint symbol beside any given entity, you have to learn what it is actually. See, the symbol over here, it means that this line is horizontal. This symbol over here, it means that, see, if you click this constraint, it will highlight the constraint entities. That means this line is perpendicular to this line. If you click this constraint, it is saying that this line is perpendicular to this one. This constraint is also perpendicular. This line and this line are perpendicular. Now this corner you don't have anything, and also observe this does not have horizontal entity. This does not have vertical constraint. This does not have horizontal constraint because these two are not perfectly aligned. So now what you have to do, you have to give, see, by giving a simple look at it, you cannot say that this line is horizontal. But I can say this line is horizontal because this has a horizontal constraint. Now to physically give a constraint to this, click this line and make sure this is horizontal. Okay, click this line. It is showing that show dimensions and options. Okay, I'll delete these two lines. I'll make sure I'll draw a simple line, angular one. Okay, click this horizontal. Okay, that is how you make turn a angular line into a horizontal line. Again, if I have any vertical, if I have a vertical line, if you want to turn this vertical, I mean angular to a vertical, click this. Now it will become automatically a vertical line. Now sometimes it shows an error. It throws an error that it is not possible to make a constraint. So when it is possible is when you give a dimension to it. If I give an angle between these two lines, say 94 degrees or some value to it, now I cannot constrain this line. Okay, but let me make this as vertical. It is showing, see, it is throwing an error. So I cannot make this horizontal, I cannot make this vertical because there is an angle existing between these two. Okay, that is the reason behind, see, fail to solve a dimension giving a constraint. You cannot turn this. Now, if you want to turn that into a complete constraint to horizontal, delete this angular constraint, then go to horizontal, click this. Then it turns into a horizontal one. Okay, that is how your most of the time is wasted because you'll hang your head. So where is the error actually? So that is the reason. So don't blindly give your dimensions. Also don't blindly give your constraints. Either you can constrain your given profile with respect to these symbols, or else you can give your dimensions also. Okay, the next one is coincidence. So now if I have a two different lines, okay, uh, two different complete lines. Let us say this is angular. Now if you want to make this coincidence, first one and second one, these two gets joined at a given point. Coincidence. Okay, coincidence constraint. Again tangent. Now if I have a circle over here, now I want to make this circle tangent to this line. Now there is a question. Now if I want to make this as tangent, which will move actually, right? This circle moves onto this line because this profile is or vertically constrained. Okay, go to tangent, select this entity, select this line. Okay, this is fixed. Now you can just move it. This line you can just move it around. Okay, now if you want to make this as horizontal, go to constraint and you can make this as horizontal. Okay, that is how you get constraints. And then make sure this is equal. So equal means first line and the second line, these two are equal. Now if you change one dimension, the other dimension will also change. Now if I give dimension d, let us suppose this is 58. Instead of 58 I'll go with 60. Okay, automatically this dimension also gets increased. Let me inspect the size of this line. Okay, see, it is showing the length as 60 mm. Okay, that is called equal. No need to give second dimension to this now. Okay, it will get over constraint. Just give one dimension to it. Make sure, say that this line is equal to this line. That's all. With only one dimension I can control this entire rectangle instead of giving four dimensions. Again parallel. So if I have any angular lines, if I have any angular or vertical line, so let me give, if I have two non-collinear parallel lines, parallel, first one will be parallel to this, it automatically becomes parallel. Instead of giving this as horizontal, I'm giving it as parallel constraint with respect to this one. Okay, Now if I delete this horizontal constraint, now if I rotate this line, see if I want to rotate this line, automatically this gets changed. So now let me have a different line. Okay, dimensions. The angle between these two would be, let us say 30 degrees or such. See what it actually did is it has done, it kept the constraint. That means even though you change the angle of this line, these two lines will remain parallel. Okay, if you delete this parallel, then you can change your line dimensions. Okay, and next one is fix. If you want to fix this at a given position, fix it. So now you cannot move this. Okay, now whatever you do, you cannot move it, so you cannot change the dimension of it, you cannot do any modifications to it. These are called fix and unfix commands. Without any given dimension, uh, it is fixed at a given position. And the next one is midpoint. Midpoint constraint. Now if I want to change this midpoint to get over here, we'll go to midpoint. So it will be asking to select an object's midpoint, this one, and make sure I'll select this entity. Now that line will be exactly aligned with the midpoint of this circle or else any given rectangle or such. Okay, that is called midpoint constraint. Okay, and simply next one you have concentric. So if I want to make this polygon concentric with this polygon, select concentric, select the okay, okay. So now these two profiles are now concentric with each other. Okay, that means the centers are aligned with each other. Okay, so that is how you do learn this constraints and all, fix and unfix, symmetry and curvature also. So you have all these constraints. So in your examination, in your professional examination, you'll be asking, if he show this symbol, what is the name of it? If what is a symbol which you have used in tangent constraint? So he will be showing this tangent constraint, what is the name of this particular constraint? Okay, that is how you need to learn about these constraints. So there are many other ways to make your sketch fully constrained. Okay, and finally you have inspect. Inspect is nothing but see, don't try to get all these draft analysis, curvature analysis. Okay, so all these are advanced options. So whenever I teach you solid modeling, we can come again to this draft analysis and all. Okay, so in inspect element, if you want to quickly measure what could be the radius of this one and diameter of this one, so as soon as you click your dimension, it will show what is the length. I mean, that means the curvature, radius, and diameter. So all these things you can get in a single glance. Okay, so that is how you inspect an element. Clear? Okay, and over here you can insert. These are just simply your decals, right, on your car, or else on your solid model. You want to incorporate any given image. Okay, you can just incorporate, insert from drive or insert from decals. Okay, that is just a simple aesthetics. And select, see, a window selection and a raster selection. See, in window selection, a rectangle will be appear to select all the entities. Okay, I want to select all these three entities, that is called window selection. Okay, and you have lasso selection. Lasso selection, right. Okay, free form selection or lasso selection. You have any given shape or something, so all it will select under this given free form selection. Okay, paint selection. Now in your paint selection, hold your right mouse. Wherever you hover your mouse, all those entities will get selected. Okay, I'm just painting it. Okay, all these elements will get selected, and you leave it, all these elements get selected. If you want to delete it, just delete it. Okay, that is about different kinds of selection tools. Okay, so, and that is about your sketcher workbench. So I've completed your entire sketcher module. Okay, ma. So windows selection, I'll just completely select everything. Oh, my Fusion 360. Okay, delete. fine. It is not deleting. uh, this is taking way longer time. Oh. Okay, so that is about your entire sketcher workbench. So constraining a given sketch is quite difficult. So let me go through a simple example. How do you constrain your sketches? That would be your next doubt. Okay, so go to dimension D. Now if I want to turn this into a fully constrained sketch, now what I have to do is go to dimension. I will be giving the profile dimensions, okay, whatever it might be. Press enter, give length and give breadth. That means this profile is now constrained. And take any given point and make sure you give your horizontal dimension with respect to this and your vertical length. Okay, now this profile is constrained. Now keeping this dimensions fixed, now I want to move this entire profile 50 mm vertically. So now what I'll do, I'll double click this 355. I'll go with value of 500. Okay, now without changing the dimensions of this closed profile, I have moved the entire profile 500 mm above the horizontal, I mean in one direction. Now if you want to move that in another direction by 50 mm, right, I have added 50 mm dimension. So now without moving this profile, without disturbing this profile, I have moved the entire profile. That is the beauty of this constraints. Okay ma. So that is about your constraints command. So that is how you constrain a simple sketch. Okay, now you have to practice your complicated sketches. So in your complicated sketches, try to give your angles. First, try to close this profile, give your dimensions between these two profiles. Finally, take a point in that profile and give horizontal distance and vertical distance. So that entire profile gets fixed. Let me show another example also as an irregular dimension. Okay, now I have a kind of irregular dimension like this. So now this could be a really a challenging thing. Go to dimension D. So give an angle to it. Okay, so now enter. Now I'll select see, I'm constraining in one particular method. Now you can select any given method you like to. So now I'm constraining it with respect to angles. Okay, let's enter. I'll select these two lines. Okay, it is showing that this is a derived dimension. Okay, press delete. So now what I'll do, I'll make sure this is horizontal. Okay, now I'll take any given point in this profile and I'll give a horizontal dimension. Press enter. Now I'll take the same point. Now I'll give horizontal distance. Press enter. Now it is saying, okay, now it is saying this some point is not completely fixed. Just move your profile. Now it will show, okay, this length is not fixed. Control Z. Now go to dimension and give the length of this line. Okay, press enter. That is how you need to check. Don't blindly, okay fine, some angle is missing, don't give the outer angle of this one. Already we have given in internal angles to all these things. Now the final dimension what you need to give is this point, and from this point the entire length of it. If you give this point, the sketch will get constrained. Press enter. And to constrain this particular line, you need to give your vertical distance, I mean the vertical distance. Press enter. That is how your profile gets constrained. Okay, this is how you constrain a complicated profile. So there are several number of ways to constrain it. That is up to you how you actually do it. Okay, by practice you need to get it. At least it takes 2 to 3 years to get proficient in this constraints, irrespective of software. Okay, not only in Fusion 360, in rest all the softwares you need to do the same thing. Okay ma, this is about your sketcher workbench. So I have covered all the topics I guess in this particular sketcher module. So now If you have any doubts, you can post me. You can unmute yourself and you can ask me any questions.
Hello, sir.
No? There are no questions.
Sir, the
Ah,
uh, shortcuts for tools, sir.
shortcut for your
Tools,
tools.
sir.
Okay. So
Tools.
now you see to make sure the one thing is you can go to help and check your document. So one thing is learning and documentation. Here product documentation. If you open this product documentation, it will map to your internet browser, and it will show all the commands listed. Okay, from there you can learn, or else the simple way is to go to create, and if you hover your mouse now, it will show a small shortcut. R is for rectangle, D is for dimension. Okay, from there you can
Okay,
directly
sir.
see. C is for circle. Only for limited options those shortcuts are there. For circle C, so you can get C. If you press C, all these circles are can be obtained. Okay, that is how you go through with shortcuts. Directly, just you can show a
Okay,
preview.
sir.
Okay. Uh, so
Thanks.
next question.
Sir, software 360 certified by Fusion 360, sir.
I didn't get your question, ma. ఏంటిది?
అంటే మనకి 360 Fusion 360 సర్టిఫికేట్ వస్తుందా సార్?
Okay, Fusion 360 certificate. See, one thing regarding the certification, ma. See, if you want to get a certificate, surely we will give. That is not a big problem. But this I mean, whatever the certificate we give, or else from CMR College of Engineering so and so, that is not such a valuable. Okay, frankly speaking, that is not such a valuable thing. But so you have to attempt a Fusion 360 basic examination. Like you have a Fusion 360 exam. So go to Autodesk slash examinations. So in that you will get a certificate from Autodesk Fusion 360 itself. See, you can check my brochure. I have a badge called Fusion 360 user. Okay, Autodesk certified AutoCAD professional. So you have different kinds of examinations, like different levels. First one is user, second one is associate, third one is expert, fourth one is professional. So in that way you have different levels, ma. So now whatever I am teaching over here, you can get a user certificate. So over there you will be having online examination. So he will ask some questions, so you have to give some questions and you have to practice. So that is how you get an Autodesk certified examination, so that we can conduct in our lab itself. So that is how you get a valid, or else a uh, internationally certified certificate. Okay, our certificate you can get, that is not a big issue, but that is not that valuable as a global certificate. Clear about certifications? If you want, I can definitely arrange for certificate. That is not a big issue.
Okay, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, and while sketching, there is
Hmm.
a reference line, sir, for every software. Reference line, X and Y direction.
Yeah.
For this software, there is no reference line, sir.
So how to draw a reference line?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
By taking that line, we will design every sketch and
Okay.
we'll construct, sir.
Okay, fine. Now over here in Fusion 360, if you zoom into this horizon, we don't have any default x-axis and default y-axis. So what you need to do is take a line, take this horizon, and by default this will be a solid line only. Okay, let's escape. Delete. Okay. Okay. Now you need to turn this into a reference line. Click this line and go to right palette and click this as construction. Now this line will become as a reference line for entire drawing. Before starting this entire drawing, you have to make sure that you draw a vertical line and a horizontal line to make those as a reference. By default, it is not available. Only Fusion 360, what it does is you have a reference origin. So with respect to this origin, you can directly give your dimensions. Okay, so fusion resistor is a little bit different. So because see this dimension with respect to horizontal I have given, with respect to vertical I have given. Okay, so it automatically detects from the origin which is horizontal and which is vertical. That is how you, this is how you create a reference line, or else directly you can give dimension with respect to origin. So it will automatically detect the reference line.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. Okay, ma'am. And next questions. Okay,
Chimera, sir.
ma'am. Okay, I hope I have answered all the questions, I guess. See, I'll be posting all this recording session by 2 to 3 o'clock, ma. So you can just go through this and you can do it. You can rewind and you can check these options and all. But try to explore more. Without practice, I can't help you out. Okay, without practice, it is not feasible to just by listening. You cannot remember everything. Okay, you need to have some practice. Okay, this is about your Sketcher workbench. Tomorrow we will just explore this solid like create modify. Okay, so extrusion and hole command. So next class we'll just explore all these options. Okay, so again I have, sir, I have already did user level certification Fusion 360 to download my certificate. Okay, fine. Go to your Autodesk account, ma'am. In your Autodesk account you have completed courses, or else you have certifications. Okay, or else you just ping me in my WhatsApp. I'll just send you the link from where you need to get your certificate. So one thing is Certiport. See, directly you cannot access your certificate, ma. See, Autodesk is tied up with Certiport. So check your mail, your Autodesk mail, whatever you have given. So in that, check your mail as Certiport, CERTIPORT, Certiport. So from that you will be receiving a mail. So in that mail you will be having your certificate. Okay, all this Autodesk will be related to Certiport. From that Certiport account, you have to download your certificate. That is how you get your certificate now. Clear? 304. Okay, and any more questions, ma? Before winding up? No. Okay, I don't have any questions right now. Okay, so we'll wind up the session. Okay, thank you for your patience.